fine. So sorry for the delay. So let us start with the screw thread terminologies. So we were telling about screw thread is nothing but getting the helical grooves on the surface of the given uniform cross section. So it could be either an cylinder or an cone. So if it is a cylinder, if you get the helical grooves on the external or the internal surface, we call that as a straight or parallel screw thread. Similar, hello. Similarly, if it is,
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
yeah, fine.
Continue.
Yeah. So similarly, if the helical groove is formed on either the frustum of a cone or an cone, then we call that type of screw thread thing as the tapered screw thread. So you should be knowing the difference between a straight or a parallel screw thread and a tapered screw thread. So if it is told it is tapered screw thread, then it is made on the cone or on the frustum of a cone. If it is mentioned as straight or parallel screw thread, then it is on the cylindrical object. So this you should be aware related to the helical grooves which are being obtained on the uniform section, which is either the cone or the cylinder. So this is about the screw thread terminology. So we have n number of around 25 terms related to screw thread. So this is related to the sketch. So we will go with respect to the terminologies, all terminologies clearly. So here you can see the helical grooves which are formed. So you have the top of the helical groove as well as the bottom of the helical groove. So the top point of the helical grooves are called as crest, and the bottom part of the helical grooves are called as the root. So you have the straight edges which connects the crest to that of the root. So these straight slant edges are called as the flanks. So the angle made by the two flanks which is connecting at a particular point called root, so that angle is called to be as the thread angle. Okay, so after this you should be knowing what do you mean by the major diameter and the minor diameter as well. So major diameter is the radial distance which will touch either the crest or the root of either the external or the internal thread. So similarly, the minor diameter, you can see clearly over here in the next sketch. Okay, so the outer diameter of the given cylindrical object will provide you the major diameter, which usually touches the crest of the given tooth. So next is the minor diameter, so which provides a radial distance from the root of the bottom tooth to that of the root part here. So it will touch the internal root of the given thread. So that you define it as the minor diameter. So the pitch axis will be coaxial with the axis of the screw thread. So the pitch diameter will be nothing but the diameter which will be in between the major and the mean. So you can also call that as the mean diameter, which will be in between the major and the minor diameter. And then pitch. The pitch is the distance between two adjacent tooth tips. Okay, so here you have one groove, helical groove, and this is the second helical groove. So the distance between the two consecutive helical grooves will be defined as our pitch. And sometimes the given helical groove could be truncated. So if it has been truncated, so the distance between the distance of what it has been truncated, that we will be calling it as the crest. So this part is said to be as the truncated part. This distance will provide you the crest truncation. And the corner part, we call that as the apex. So these are the major terminologies. So we'll go in depth one by one. This is a thread angle we have told already, right? So now what you have to understand is, first we have to start up with the external thread. So the example for external threads are like bolts or studs. You people have seen the bolts or studs where you have the thread on the external surface of the workpiece. So these are called as the external thread. Next, it comes to internal thread. So internal thread are the grooves which were achieved inside the internal surface of the workpiece. So an example for that is the nut. Okay, so that you can roll the nut over the bolt for the required compactness. And then you should be knowing what you mean by multiple start screw thread. So this is produced by forming two or more helical grooves equally spaced. So if you are making the helical grooves with equally spaced, and these are similarly formed in an axial section on a cylinder, then you call this as an multiple start screw thread. So you'll be having equal distance maintained between the consecutive threads, which will be coaxial to that of the axis of the cylinder. So the axis of the cylinder and the axis of the screw thread will be same and parallel, provided you are providing an equidistance between the consecutive threads. Then you call that as a multiple start screw thread. So next is axis of a thread. So axis of a thread is an imaginary line which is running longitudinally through the center of the screw. So this is the axis, imaginary axis, which is called. Okay, so it is an imaginary axis which will be running longitudinally with respect to the center of the screw. So after knowing this, you should be knowing how do you identify the thread as the right hand thread or the left hand thread. So it mainly depends upon whether you're getting the thread in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise. So if you can see that if the thread is moving away from the observer, then what you achieve is the right hand thread. So if the thread is being formed towards the observer, then it is moving in the anti-clockwise direction, so you will be getting an left hand thread. So by looking on into the thread operation, you can identify whether it is a left hand thread or an right hand thread. And then you should know what you mean by form of a thread. So form of a thread basically gives you the shape of the counter of one complete thread. So if you see the one complete thread, so the form formed by this is called as the shape formed by one complete thread is called to be as the form of the thread. Next, what do you mean by crest? So crest is nothing but the top portion of the groove between the two flanks. So you have here the top surface which is called to be as the crest. So it forms the top portion of the groove. And similarly, you should see what you mean by root. So root is defined as the bottom of the groove between the two flanks again. So all the crest and the trough are connected with the help of the flanks. So these are the flanks. So which connects the crest to that of the root of the given helical groove. Next, you should know what you mean by flank of threads. So flanks of threads are nothing but the straight edges. I explained you already. These are the straight edges which connects the crest as well as the. Yes, Sharon? Which connects the crest as well as the root part of the helical groove. So next is angle of the thread. So this is the angle made between the flanks or the slope of the thread. So this is called as the flank angle. So the angle made between the two slant edges or two straight edges, then that angle is told to be as the flank angle. Next, angle of the thread. So this is also called as included angle. This is the angle between the flanks or slope of the thread measured in the axial plane. The flank of the thread, these are the straight edges which connects the crest with the root. Okay, this is over. And this is the angle made in between the flank, what we call as a thread angle or angle of the thread. Both are same. Sometimes they can call it as a thread angle and also the angle of thread. After knowing angle of thread, you should be knowing what you mean by flank angle. So flank angle will be exactly half of the thread angle. So it is the angle made by the longitudinal axis with respect to the one of the straight edge. So that angle is called to be as the flank angle. Okay. So spank angle of a symmetrical thread is always commonly called as an half angle of the thread. It will be exactly equal to the half of that of the thread angle. So next you should be knowing what do you mean by an pitch. So pitch of a thread is the distance measured parallel to the axis of the thread between corresponding points on adjacent thread. So you can see here, this is the pitch diameter. This is the pitch line. So what has been told, the pitch of a thread is the distance measured parallel to the axis of the thread between corresponding points. So the pitch line and the coaxial line will be parallel. So it is the distance measured from the pitch line to the corresponding point. So usually the pitch diameter will provide you the mean diameter in comparison to the major and the minor diameter. And the pitch line will be parallel and coaxial to that of the screw axis. And this distance will provide you the addendum and the dedendum part later.
10 minutes left, it seems gone.
Sorry, it got disconnected. I don't know, from morning there is some problem today. What's up?
No, ma'am, we are not hearing you.
Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Am I audible now? Hello? Hello? Am I audible? Reply.
Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Now also it's not audible. See now,